Good afternoon, and welcome to our Georgia Tech What's Buzzin', What's Buzzin' at Georgia Tech webinar series. My name is Tyler Barker. I serve as the coordinator within the Office of Parent and Family Programs here at Georgia Tech. And we'd just like to welcome you, as today we are featuring Georgia Tech Dining. We are joined by a very special guest, Senior Director Ryan Greene, who has taken some time out of his schedule to kind of give you some dining updates and also hear from you as a parent and a family member about any questions that you may have or any concerns that you would like to voice. Please know that if you have any questions, we would like for you to utilize the Q&A chat box. Once again, we would like for you to utilize the Q&A chat feature and have any questions, and we will get to those right after the presentation. Please know that this will be recorded just in case you missed anything. I would like to go back and refer to any information. And now, without further ado, I'll just let Ryan introduce himself briefly, and then we'll turn over into the PowerPoint presentation.
Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate that. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Good afternoon on this Thursday. My name is Ryan Greene. I'm the Senior Director for Tech Dining, Georgia Tech's new self-operated dining program. And I'm definitely glad to be here this afternoon to give a little overview of what's going on with us right now and also answer some of your questions.
Great. Give me a few moments as we transition to our PowerPoint. Perfect. Can you see everything, Ryan?
Yes, thank you very much.
All right.
So once again, I'm very happy to be here to go over a few things related to tech dining. So I like to be a very transparent individual. So I will start by saying this is our agenda that we're going to go over for this short presentation here today. And I want to go over some of the changes that we are seeing and we've seen and planned with tech dining and what that looks like for us for this semester, and then talk about some of those enhancements that we've been working on compared to prior dining operations and programs that we've had on the Georgia Tech campus. I want to quickly get into our last week or so of operations. We have definitely had some challenges that we've dealt with. I will say we're not alone. I've been speaking to many other institutions in the state of Georgia from a dining perspective and around the United States with what's going on. And so I'll go over some of those. I want to be very transparent upfront with what we have been working with, but then also very quickly speak to what we're doing to improve that. In general, we feel like we're in a much better place today than we were a week ago, being our first week of classes last week. And so I want to speak to some of those as well. I hope that will answer some of your questions too. Speak about our progress, and then of course our next steps to continue to improve our dining program over the next few weeks, over the semester and going forward. And then of course we'll jump into Q&A after that. So changes under tech dining, many of you might already know, but we've sort of spoke to the difference under tech dining. We are a self-operated dining program, so I won't bore you with all the details, but generally Georgia Tech has always had a contractor to come in and do dining for us. There's pros and cons to contracted dining. Many institutions use it. However, we made a strategic decision to go to self-operated dining, and the biggest reason for that was for our students, the flexibility that our students will get under self-operated dining, and a lot of the changes we're able to make. Now, we have planned a lot of changes and improvements that we are continuing to work on over these weeks, over the semester. All of them are not ready on day one, unfortunately. It's a big lift to bring on a new dining program. And so while that is no excuse, it is the reality that we're facing, especially still under a global pandemic with a lot of national challenges related to labor and supply chain. But either way, that's where we are. Some of the changes we've already made under tech dining, moving to all you care to eat in Britton, North Avenue, and West Village. So in the past, Britton and North Avenue were all you care to eat facilities. However, you only had 4 swipes a day to eat in those dining facilities or around campus, as well as dining dollars. And then, so we changed those so that you can go into those facilities as many times as you want to throughout the day. We have continuous service from the time we opened to the time we closed. And then this year we moved West Village over to an all you care to eat dining facility. That is a big change. So that individuals can go in whenever they would like and get as much food at multiple stations. In the past, you can only go to one station and get one meal for one swipe, and you only got 4 swipes a day. So that's sort of a change and enhancement we have made that we're excited about. We did not increase meal plan prices to make those big changes. We have a number of new retail concepts on campus. Some of those we're operating ourselves. Other of those we brought on strategically, provide better services and a better quality product to our students. So we're excited about those. We've hired a lot of really top-notch chefs that have really good education and experience in dining services and the collegiate dining services, and also from a professional perspective. So we're excited about that. And then we've made the very large majority of our food is from scratch. We've minimized frozen foods and things like that, and have opened up a bakery that is operating 24 hours a day during the week to make our baked goods right here on campus. We've really focused on the menus that we're offering to be more diverse, focused on the cultures and the backgrounds of our students and the taste and needs of our campus. And then we are focusing even more on vegan and vegetarian offerings. That will continue to be a very hot topic and important topic for collegiate dining across the United States as more students want to eat healthy, which is great, and have different dietary needs and restrictions. And so we are focusing on trying to provide more of those foods on a daily basis. So these are just a few of the enhancements more specifically that we've made to this changeover to tech dining from what we've had previously. So in North Avenue and Britain, we have some new coffee machines that are bean to cup. They allow espressos and cappuccinos and hot chocolate and drip coffee, but beans are grinded in front of you in that machine, much better than the previously brewed drip coffee that was only offered in dining halls. We have moved over to scoop ice cream, so we're excited about that. We're using Mayfield ice cream at this time. They're working on a few challenges with supply chain, so we have ran out a few times on ice cream, but we've had a very stern conversation with them just yesterday, and they are making some improvements to make sure it's more consistent, but we are happy to offer that. 24-hour bakery, like I mentioned, so a lot of baked goods going to our dining halls and our different retail concepts around campus made right here on campus, which is a big change strategically from what was done previously with a lot of frozen foods coming in from other dining suppliers. We've increased our food costs to be completely transparent. We're spending more on our food. We're getting higher quality ingredients to make our food even better. And so that is something that we're really proud of and will continue to do over the course of this next semester and going forward. Like I said, we've moved West Village to All You Care to Eat. We've also, on the third floor, it used to be a Starbucks that you had to pay for. Now it's called Ramblin' Coffee and Sweets. And we have our espresso machines up there that just got installed. So we have espressos and cappuccinos and lattes and drip coffee that is just debuting this week. That is free of charge. It's part of the All You Care to Eat meal plan. And also a lot of those baked goods, like I spoke to downstairs, as well as some ice cream is available as part of the All You Care to Eat meal plan. I mentioned we moved to unlimited meal plans. We're rolling over the dining dollars that are not used from fall to spring. And then we're also rolling over, if you're on a block plan or a voluntary plan, we call them the meal pass plans, unused meal swipes from the fall to the spring will actually roll over. In the past, always historically, those have expired at the end of the fall. So we're rolling those over for no additional charge as well if they're not used. Rec Stop is a location that we just opened up this week on the first floor of West Village. We are slowly bringing on new items there. We will be selling grocery items out of there as well. A lot of the important, most popular grocery items that our students are wanting, as well as convenience items. We'll have boar's head sandwiches and coffee as well. And so we have it open right now with some limited food offerings. We're still finalizing some contracts with our suppliers and some of their supply chain issues, but that'll be open up in full here in the next week or two, but it is open currently as a retail concept. Caldi's is in our Clough library. It took the place of our Starbucks. I won't go into all the details on Caldi's, but it's a really great brand. It's at Emory University. A lot of the food is made right here in our kitchen and in our bakery. And then we believe the coffee and the product is better than what we've had previously on campus. We've seen a lot of demand for that new offering already, which we're excited about. Boar's Head, as I mentioned, will be at our rec stop at West Village. We're also opening up a concept called Whistle Bistro. It'll have a soft opening starting on Tuesday, so just in a few days. That's over near Tech Tower. It's a retail concept. It'll have Boar's Head food. It'll also have Starbucks coffee through our, we proudly serve Nestle provider, but it will be Starbucks coffee. So that'll be there opening up next week. And we are doing fresh smoothies in many of the dining halls, and then also at retail concepts. We're opening up a concept in the campus recreation center by the end of the month, and it'll have fresh smoothies as well. We're doing all-day breakfast in Britain. We've heard a lot of feedback from students that they're wanting that, so that is an option. We just opened Britain up yesterday, and I'll speak more to that in a second. We are making our sushi on campus, and that'll be going into effect in the next about week and a half. with a sushi provider who's making it right here, and that'll be in the dining hall free of charge, and we'll also have it in our retail concepts if individuals would like that for lunch or different times throughout the day. And then really focusing on more international, vegan, vegetarian, and gluten-free offerings for all of our students, as that is definitely a trend in higher education dining. So these are a few of the logos and graphics that you'll see around campus. I just wanted to sort of show those. I won't go through all of them, but we are excited about these different brands coming into campus. Many of them are over at West Village, some of them at different places around campus, but I just wanted to sort of show this slide to sort of go over what those look like and what these new brands, our students will be seeing them around campus on a regular basis. So the next slide transitions me into our conversation, our transparent conversation of some of the challenges we've had with lines and pieces like that over the last week and a half or so, and then what we're doing to fix those. I just wanted to show this slide. I made this last night, just Googling challenges in the restaurant industry right now. It's pretty prevalent. That is not an excuse. I want to be clear about that, and we know that, but I do want to be transparent in some of the challenges that we're going through. If you look in the bottom left-hand corner, you see Chick-fil-A is actually only doing drive-through in most locations, and they've actually reduced their hours right around the corner here and many other locations as well. So when Chick-fil-A is struggling, then you got a problem going on. So it's definitely a nationwide challenge that we're working with, and while I love to say Georgia Tech is completely exempt from it, we are dealing with some of those labor challenges as well. We have, under the self-operated dining program, over the last 5 months, we've brought on over 300 employees. So we've definitely made a lot of progress in a very short amount of time in a challenging market, but we still have a ways to go. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in just a second. So on the left-hand side, you'll see a graphic that we communicated out on social media. We've also created a website dedicated to speaking to our progress in tech dining, what we're going through, but how we're fixing it and how we're moving in a better direction very, very quickly. I will say in general that the first week of classes on any college campus in a normal scenario, a normal background is challenging. I mean, I've spoken to UGA, many other institutions. They have lines right now too. Once again, not an excuse, but it is the reality that many of us are dealing with. But these are some of these first week challenges that we wanted to communicate out and be transparent. And we felt like that the website you see at the bottom of the screen is how we can be the most transparent in communicating what's going on and how we're trying to fix it as quickly as possible. I mentioned, of course, the nationwide labor shortages. Once again, not an excuse, but it is the climate that we're dealing with right now. Similarly, food and supply chain issues. So we've had a lot of substitutions and challenges from even our biggest suppliers like US Foods and Cisco and individuals like that. And we're seeing that, we wanted to do a wing night the other day for 4,000 students, and they simply said, we don't have enough chicken wings. They have to find something else. And so we had planned that out, and then, a day or two before, they were like, figure out what else you want to serve for 4,000 people tomorrow. So it's something that we obviously have to deal with. We know that, but it is something that can be challenging when they make a lot of those communications at the last minute because they're dealing with those supply chain issues. Britain was unexpectedly closed. So with our semester starting, normally we would have North Avenue, Britain, and West Village open. And that helps out with lines because we have so many students who are obviously hungry. But unfortunately, Britain had to be closed all the way up until yesterday when we opened. It was an unexpected closure with some repairs. It's a lovely building, but it's really old, one of the oldest on campus. And so we had a few things we had to do from an infrastructure perspective. And some painting as well. But anyway, so it opened up yesterday. It was busy, and we definitely saw some reduction in lines at North Avenue, as well as a few in West Village, which we're happy about. We opened up a few additional retail concepts this week. Rec Stop has opened up. Pluck and Mow is a retail concept on the west side of campus near West Village. That opened up. It has been quite busy and gone pretty well thus far. As I mentioned, I've been speaking to many dining leaders within higher education over the last week or so to sort of speak to benchmarking what our challenges are versus theirs. Once again, it's not an excuse for anybody, but it is comparable to many other institutions, and we just hope that the way we're being transparent, and then on the next slide, speaking to how we're fixing that, that's unique and we're doing it as quickly as possible. And we sent an email out to our students going through more of these details about what's happened and what we're doing to fix it. And like I said, if you look at that website at the bottom, dining.godtech.edu/progress, that is where we're communicating all of those fixes as quickly as possible. So a few of the improvements that we've made thus far, as I said, Britain has already opened up yesterday. It will remain open for lunch and dinner at this time. We are bringing on more staff as quickly as possible to also open up for breakfast, but we haven't really seen the lines at breakfast as we have as lunch and dinner. So that is our focus right now to help with the lunch and dinner rush, but Britain is open and has gone quite well thus far. Cluck and Mo, as I mentioned, has opened up, and Rec Stop this week. We've added additional food trucks. So those are in the center of campus, primarily during lunchtime. We've added a few during dinner on the west side of campus, but over at Tech Greene, as well as the Icy Lawn, which is near Rising Roll in the middle of campus, we've added some additional food trucks. And unfortunately, they've also had their own unique challenges with trying to staff people and get food in on time. But luckily, we've gotten a number of those in, and we'll continue to add more of those as we can. We've streamlined some menus between West Village and North Avenue, meaning that most students are going to one or the other, because if they live on the west side, rarely are they going all the way over to the east side to have dinner. And so we've sort of looked to see how we can be more efficient with those menus. Still really good food and still high quality. However, we originally had unique and different menus for every dining hall, for every meal, for every station. And so right now, to sort of make sure we can get the production to increase and be a little more efficient, we've done that, since we don't see a lot of students going between West Village and North Avenue often at all. We're focusing on temp labor. So we've, as I mentioned, hired over 300 employees over the course of this last 5 or 6 months. Most of those are full-time employees. That's our goal, and will continue to be our goal to have the best dining program possible. However, we have had to get some temp labor, and while we thought that might be decently easy, that's also unfortunately a challenge right now. Getting any labor is a challenge. So we're strategically changing our approach to temp labor. We're getting even more agencies. We've already looked at over a dozen agencies to try to get us employees, but we're looking at even more, and we'll continue to do that to get more people in our back of house and front of house to make the experience even better. We have changed to allowing unlimited takeout meals. So the meal plan, the way it reads originally, is that you could have one takeout meal per day because it is unlimited. So the idea with unlimited meal plans, which is sort of a pretty common standard in dining within higher education, is that you would eat inside the dining hall as much as you want. You couldn't just continually take out the food all the time to friends or other individuals. But we have made that adjustment during these times of COVID, as well as, of course, some of the service delays that we've had, so they can take out as much food as they would like in to-go containers. And then lastly, just this week, and it should have actually happened yesterday officially, we provided a $50 dining dollar credit, a one-time credit to individuals on those first-year plans. So on the unlimited everyday and weekday plans, and then from there on those voluntary plans, we also provided a dining dollar credit prorated based on the total cost of the plan. So we just did that because we knew there was some frustrations last week, and we were hoping that would help out a little bit with some of those concerns. So progress and next steps. I can promise you that our whole team is reporting back and communicating on a daily basis, almost an hourly basis, on how the lines are moving, what we can do to make them even quicker. But I will say that over the last 3 days, knock on wood, we've seen some really good progress in North Avenue and West Village. And then Britain, like I said, has opened up yesterday, which has helped out a lot yesterday and last night. So we feel better about the lines. We know that it's something that we have to watch every single day, but we have made some good progress in really a pretty short amount of time. We are becoming more competitive with our employee incentives, so trying to pay more for employees to stay later in the evening, work evening shifts, work weekend shifts, that kind of thing. Pay our cooks more because the market is paying a lot. You might have seen on the previous slide some of the rates that people are paying, which is great for the employee, and they definitely deserve it. But we definitely have to make some of those changes, and we're doing that to be competitive. As I mentioned, we've opened some additional retail concepts, and we'll open a few more over the next few weeks over at the CRC, the Recreation Center, over at the Whistle Bistro. We're also planning on adding a grab-and-go and pizza and sushi option, as well as kosher food in the dining hub, and that should be open the 13th of September. And so we're excited about that to help with during the day in the middle of campus. The semester volume has somewhat evened out and is in a better place than it was with the start of classes. It's become a little more predictable and stable. And we will continue to provide our updates via our progress website, which I mentioned previously, as well as our social media. And we are working on a daily basis with student leadership, SGA, those other individuals to hear what's going on. We're constantly reading the feedback on the social channels to make sure that we're addressing as quickly as possible. And then the last slide I have before we'll open up for questions, just some contact information, our website, the primary email address for dining. And I will say that dining at godtech.edu, we did have a few day delay with the response time. We have caught back up on that, and so we're feeling better about the response time on that. And then going forward, it should be a much quicker response time. We also have our dining leadership on dining.godtech.edu/contact, and we can respond to you more directly if there's an urgent or a pressing question or concern that's come up. And then you can always follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Tech Dining. And then lastly, as I mentioned, that progress page, please feel free to check that out as we will continue to post updates as we get them. And with that, I appreciate you guys listening to a little bit of that overview of what we're going through and how we're addressing it, and open up for questions.
Thank you so much, Ryan, for that wonderful presentation about what dining is doing. Definitely would like to give a big kudos to you and the team for adding that extra dining dollars to the students. I know they really appreciate that. But yeah, we'll just dive into questions. So my student goes to West Village Hall for his meals. One day, right before class started, he was told that his food could not be taken out. Are students given containers if asked for meals, or are they restricted to eat in the dining halls?
So I'm sorry that he received that information. We did make this change after the semester had started. So I'm not sure when exactly he went into West Village. What I will say is that if he asked for a to-go container, he should be able to get one. At this time, we have to-go containers. We have brought, as part of mentioning that whole bringing on 300 employees is bringing on new cashiers. And so we have had to train them, of course, on some of these changes that we've made. And so in the event that a student is not given a to-go container, unless for some reason we're completely out of them, which shouldn't be the case because we've ordered a lot, they should be able to receive a to-go container for any meal. And in the future, if your student is told for some reason that they can't take food out, then feel free to contact me. And like I said, on that leadership page, there's plenty of individuals we can speak to that cashier and make sure they understand what's going on. But we have notified all of them what's happening.
Great, thank you so much. When will Greek meal plans start and refunds be given?
So that area is under our administration area. Kim Siegel's our director of administration. I believe we said that's next week, though. We had some communication, and I believe that more of that communication is coming out next week. So I will, if you'd like, feel free to email me directly with that question, or you can email dining@godtech.edu, and we'll go ahead and get you the exact date. I do believe that that information is on our website. So if you go to dining.godtech.edu, we do have a page that has important dates, and that date is on there as well.
Can you put some information on the dining sites as to where dining dollars can be used so that new students are clear how they can use their Buzzcard/meal swipes /dining dollars?
Sure, we can provide some of that. I know that if you go to the dining website, we have a specific page dedicated to meal plans that goes over the Meal Plan 101, which has a specific area I'm looking at now that speaks to dining dollars itself. It talks to what they are. But we can provide more information. We also have an FAQ page that's been frequented a lot. That there's a meal plan specific FAQ page. I'm actually looking at a question now. It says, where can I use my dining dollars? And so it is on there. The general answer is that you can use dining dollars at any dining location on campus. That's the short answer. They're not able to be used off campus. So there's some off campus vendors we have over at Tech Square where we have something called Buzzcard Funds, and our dining website does explain the difference between those. But the dining dollars can be used anywhere on campus dining facilities. And then if you're going into a dining hall, if you're on that everyday or weekday plan as a first year student, you wouldn't want to use dining dollars to go into the dining hall because it's an unlimited dining hall plan. But anywhere on any other retail concept, any other restaurant outside of West Village, North Avenue, or Britain, you could use those dining dollars on campus.
Thank you, Ryan. And we seem to have a parent just expressing concern about the variety compared to last year versus this year. If you could just touch on maybe clarifying that from based upon the presentation, I think we do have a good variety of food options for students. So
yeah, I'd love to hear. Sure, I'd love to hear more specific feedback on that. I mean, variety is something that we have focused on. I walk into pretty much every dining hall every day at this point, and we've been looking at that. I will say, and I maybe should have mentioned, so my prior role before coming over to this current position, I was heavily involved in our contract with our prior dining contractor. I didn't work for them. I worked for Georgia Tech, but overseeing what was happening on a daily basis. So I had a little bit of that historical knowledge and was able to bring that over to our new dining program. And so, yeah, our focus on variety is an important one. And I would love to hear more specific feedback as to maybe which dining hall or what they're wanting to see that they're not seeing. So feel free to email me or email dining@godtech.edu to provide some more of that information.
Thank you, Ryan. Next question. Parent has a student who has type 1 diabetes. Their diet is pretty simple, healthy, nutritious, and balanced foods. They're expressing concern about variety and options at West Village that can accommodate his diet, other than specifically on the weekend, with the lunch and dinner options have been pizza and primarily, it seems like, based upon their record.
Okay, so what I'll say about West Village, on weekends we do have brunch and dinner, but we don't just have pizza or burgers at any specific time. Those are common offerings, but we don't even have a dedicated burger station at West Village. We have a white and gold grill, and it has a hot, maybe more traditional home style food option that sometimes has burgers, but definitely not every day. And we are rotating that menu pretty much on a daily basis. What I will say is that Mindful Bites is a station over at West Village as well as over at North Avenue. We have removed the major 9 allergens, including sesame, from food that's being served there. So it is very healthy. It is focused on our students with dietary needs. And like I said, the major 9 allergens are not in those foods in those stations. So it is definitely a focused option on healthier food. However, we have tried to do that at other locations as well, not just that location. And then the same is over as North Avenue in Britain. So I would definitely recommend they look at Mindful Bites first and then continue to look around at the other stations because we are trying to provide healthy food at the majority of our stations. I will say we have the Leaning Tower of Tech is our Italian station at West Village. It does have pizza every day, so that is a staple. I think we'd get yelled at if we didn't have pizza every day. So we have that. We also have pasta and some other offerings, and then other stations have some healthy options too. So we're continuing to work on that and provide even more of those as we get more of that feedback.
Thanks, Ryan. I think this is also a perfect segue too to highlight GT Dining's capability to accommodate students with special dietary needs and getting in contact with the nutritionist. If you could touch more on that process, Ryan.
Sure. So we actually have a dedicated page on our website, dining.godtech.edu/nutrition. And we have registered dietitians, and actually, I'm sorry, the short link to that, just easier to remember, is nutrition.godtech.edu. But the registered dietitians that we have, they work with our students. We have a guide to managing dietary needs guide that we published on the website about a week ago. And so I would encourage anybody with dietary needs to look at that guide to see what we're doing. We are labeling food and continuing to do that in our dining halls. Well, one thing I will say is that we have partnered with a company called NutriSlice, and that we've been promoting. It is an online menu tool that we've been populating. Without getting into the boring details, we have to feed a lot of that information from one system to another system into NutriSlice. And so we have had a little bit of a delay on getting all of that up to speed. But from what I'm being told, we're much closer to it being 100%, and I think we're about 75% there right now on those menus. Of course, if you actually go into the dining halls, you actually see what we're serving, and we do label those major allergens at the location, so individuals can see those as well. But if you have specific dietary needs outside of what we're offering, if you want to ask questions about those kinds of things, we would recommend that you get in touch with us. Like I said, go to nutrition.godtech.edu, go to our dining website. There's contact information there, and you can speak to our registered dietitians as well as our chefs, our culinary team, for questions you might have.
Great. Thank you, Ryan. Is there a way of switching the amounts between dining dollars and Buzzcard Funds during this semester?
There's not a way to switch, no. So our dining dollars that come with the plan, we switch those over. We actually, when we moved to the all-you-care-to-eat unlimited swipes, we actually added more dining dollars to those meal plans. I think it was about 150 to everybody's meal plan without increasing the cost of the meal plan. But we did consolidate and not have Buzzcard Funds as well as dining dollars. It got a little confusing, especially for first-year students, and it really made more sense from a dining dollar perspective to use them there. I will say one of the benefits of dining dollars is they're sales tax exempt. Buzzcard Funds are not. So Buzzcard Funds can be used off campus at certain retail locations. You can go to our Buzzcard website to see those. But for dining dollars, those are sales tax exempt. They can be used on campus. We don't allow individuals to change it up. We do allow individuals to buy Buzzcard Funds if they wanted to add those on to be able to eat off campus as well. And so that's sort of how that approach works. And like I said, lastly, sorry, Tyler, is that those dining dollars, if they're not used at the end of the fall semester, they will roll over to the.
Yeah, I think a lot of former Georgia Tech students are pretty jealous of that right now. If a student or a parent would like to address any customer service concerns on site or via email, how can they go about that?
So what I will say is that we're rolling out, and I recognize we probably should have had it a week ago, but with the transition to self-op dining, we've had a lot of things we've been working on. Something called Text Intel, and it's a feedback system that will be going into our dining halls and in our retail locations. And so that should be out within, I'd say, the next 2 weeks at the most. And so with that campaign, you'll be able to go in and you'll be able to text your feedback. It'll go directly to management so they can see what those concerns are. And we'll get that feedback via our phone and be able to either respond back or immediately go ahead and check and see what those are. I know we had one concern a few days ago where I think we ran out of lettuce for a little while at the salad bar. And so, if we're of course looking at that on a regular basis, but if somebody provides, hey, I want to get a salad and you just ran out of lettuce, you can, send us a message and we would see that over our phone quickly if for some reason somebody wasn't right there to address it immediately. But in terms of other feedback, like I said, our website and then on social at Tech Dining, you can provide feedback that way. And then you can always contact our leadership team for something specific.
Great. And Ryan, just for clarification, could you touch on the dining hall hours? Was there a change from last year? And if not, the parent is saying that their student has been turned away at 9:30, even though they were told that the dining hall, opens up until 10.
Yeah. So our if you go on our website, we have our hours of operations posted. I'm looking at them now. We have specific Labor Day hours of operation as we, of course, coming up to the holiday, and then our regular hours of operation for the remainder of the semester. So North Avenue and Britain close at 9 p.m. on Fridays. So if it was a Friday, that would probably be the case. And actually, North Avenue at this time is closing on the weekends at 9. We just haven't seen the demand. I know there are some individuals who, of course, would want to eat after 9. But from a staffing perspective and from a demand perspective, our peak was before 9 o'clock. So we were closing right now. Now, Monday through Thursday, North Avenue is open till 10 o'clock. Britain's open till 10 o'clock. West Village is open until 10 o'clock. So if somebody was coming on Friday or the weekend after 9, that would be why they were turned away, because we have communicated those hours to close at 9 at this time. We are very hopeful and optimistic as we get some more people on board that we can expand those hours out. But unfortunately, like the slide I showed previously, we are dealing with some of those challenges to keep our operations open as long as we would like. And this is what we can do at this time. But we have communicated on the website, and you can see it there at dining.gottech.edu/hours.
Great. With the NutriSlice app, there seems to not be accurate information on the menu options. Some of the items are listed are not available for that particular day. Can this be fixed?
Yes, so every single day we're looking at NutriSlice. And once again, I won't bore you with the details, but the system we're using is our backbone of our all the menus we have, all the recipes we have, all the ingredients we have. And so I noticed there was a post, I think, on Reddit a few days ago that it said that a sausage link was 700 calories. Our sausage links are not 700 calories, and it said our pizza was 43 calories. And I wish our pizza was 43 calories, but it's not. But we did know that, and we've made that change already, and we are continuing to look at those on a daily basis to make sure they're as accurate as possible. I will say that for the major allergens, if you have questions, we are labeling those on the food, but if you ever have a question, you can ask our culinary team, and they should be able to help you with those specifics.
Great. Where can the students get vegan, vegetarian, and halal meals regularly?
So vegan, vegetarian, we do have vegan and vegetarian offerings in all of our dining halls at all times. We have some retail concepts that do the same. We are continuing to expand those, as we know that is a demand item, but we have tried to have more than we've had in the past. So we'll continue to work on that, but we think we're doing a pretty good job of having some of those options in all of our dining halls. And then from a halal perspective, so we actually have all of our chicken is halal and some of our other items as well. And so we do need to market that and label it even a little bit clearer than we have right now. So I actually had a conversation yesterday with our executive chef, Chef Scott, and so we're working on that to make sure that it's clear where our halal options are. I will say on a related note, we are partnering with a local company called Kosher Gourmet, and so they are certified and approved kosher restaurant and caterer, and so they are now providing us kosher food at West Village on a daily basis, and then like I said, in about the next week and a half, they'll be doing the same thing in the exhibition hall in the middle of campus, and we'll continue to work with them to make sure we have kosher food available for our students who would like that.
Great. And we're just getting a couple more concerns about vegetarian, maybe potentially expanding the vegetarian options at West Village. So definitely just want to have you take note of that, Ryan.
Yes, I will take note of that. Specifically at West Village, that's good feedback. And so I'll speak to our chef over there, Chef Winston, as well as our executive chef, and we'll try to go ahead and do that really, really soon. Thank you for that.
Yes. And just for any parents and families who may have joined us late, can you clarify, can to-go boxes be used at all locations in the dining halls? And also, if they had takeout boxes they bought last year, can they use those again this year?
So for consistency, we're allowing the to-go boxes that we're providing right now. So they are compostable, and they are at all 3 dining halls: West Village, Britain, and North Avenue. And so in the event that somebody is told that we don't have a to-go container, they should ask for a supervisor, because at this time I've not been told we're having a supply chain issue with to-go containers. I will say I went to a restaurant a few days ago and asked for a to-go container, and they gave me a Sonny's Barbecue to-go container, and it was definitely not a barbecue joint. And I said, well, why do you have Sonny's Barbecue to-go containers? And they said, well, that's all we can get right now from our supplier. So it is a challenge right now. We haven't run out of those though, but all 3 dining halls, they should be able to get a to-go container without an issue. In response to the question of a prior to-go container, we did have a reusable to-go container. We aren't necessarily, I guess, if they asked for it, I guess we wouldn't turn them away, because it's about the same size as our current one. I think we would ask for consistency, that everybody use the to-go containers that we're providing at this time. What I will say is that we have already purchased a number of reusable to-go containers that are washable, more sustainable. Those have come in, but that was based on a program that had 1 to-go meal per day. And so we are going to wait until if we revisit that later this semester, depending upon obviously a lot of different factors, we would allow those reusable containers to be used, and there would be no price or no charge to the student. So if the student's concerned with having to buy another reusable container from us, that's not going to be the case. There won't be a charge at all. They'll get 1 free one. But at this time, we are using those compostable ones, and we would ask that they go ahead and use the ones that we're providing. And if there is an issue with that, please feel free to let me know.
Great. And there seems to be a big request for soup. So if you could take note of that as well, Ryan.
Soup, okay. I know we have soup daily at North Avenue, but I will address that from a Britain and West Village perspective.
How are students made aware of the location of food trucks? Any social media, notification, emails? If you could just clarify that.
Sure. Yeah. On our website, we do have the different food trucks that we're operating, and have that information posted. So it says which food trucks are. Like, I'm on the website now, and it shows that the Bento Bus will be open today. Chick-fil-A will be open today. I will say we probably need to more clearly communicate exactly where they're located every day. What I will say is that we've had to move them around a little bit based on demand over this first 2 weeks to sort of see where the students are. We had a few days ago, we had about 3 food trucks in one location, and they didn't have anybody there. But then about a 3-minute walk the other direction, there was a ton of students waiting for food trucks. So we have had to move them a few times to try to hit our demand. But I will speak with our marketing team and communications to try to provide those locations better. We do have when they're available and when they're going to be here, but we will go ahead and try to better communicate where they're located.
Awesome. Then we have one parent who just said, uh, "Thank you for everything that you're doing. We know that this is not easy. We'd like to give you credit for the speed in which you have responded to these issues, which in our experience compares very favorably to what other institutions have done to address equally or more significant issues. So definitely big kudos to you and your staff, Ryan, just for everything and also just being here today."
Oh, well, whoever said that, thank you so much. I can tell you, we really are working 7 days a week around the clock to make this better as quickly as possible. So thank you for that feedback. We're working hard at it.
Uh, Two suggestions. Could you host this session again in a week or two so we can see whether your initiatives have addressed some of the issues? And secondly, keep in place some of the temporary solutions, such as food trucks, as they are very popular.
Yes, definitely to the latter, and to the former, I'm happy to talk again and provide even more updates to an audience who's interested. So Tyler and Lacey, I'm sure we can talk about that.
Yes, we would love to get you in. Uh, I had a couple of questions about Indian dishes and also Asian dishes. If you could touch on those and perhaps where students could access those potentially.
So what I will say, over at West Village, Ginger and Spice is a location that's focused on Asian and Indian cuisine. And so we have had that there. We're continuing to expand the menu for that location. One thing I'll say, just to put in perspective a little bit, so West Village previously had basically one menu that they utilized at almost all of their stations for the entire semester under our prior dining program with a contractor. And so we are trying to change out those menu options almost daily, but at least weekly, to keep them fresh and interesting. But I will speak to our executive chef at West Village about Indian and Asian cuisine, making sure we focus especially on that Indian cuisine, because I've been over there and seen a lot of Asian cuisine thus far at West Village, but that is where both of those would be located. I know at Britain and North Avenue, we have an internationally focused line. It's not just Indian and Asian cuisine. We also have Mediterranean and many of other options. But I will go ahead and speak to them. I know that those are some of our most popular. We did a survey right when we were starting this initiative to move to self-operated dining, and we had a lot of feedback that Indian and Asian cuisine, as well as Mexican cuisine and breakfast. Breakfast is actually number one, but to make sure we provide that food. So I'll speak to them about ramping that up and make it more. But in the dining halls, all three of those do have a presence with that cuisine. We'll just try to make it even more clear and more obvious going forward.
And speaking of breakfast, a parent asked, would it be possible to open North Avenue and West Village at 6:30 a.m. instead of 7, just considering for the students who have 8 a.m. classes and they may have a longer walking commute to class?
Good question. I think we could definitely consider it. I think once again, it'll be that staffing concern or that challenge. I know that our employees are that work the morning and the early afternoon shift. They're here by usually 5:30 or 6 o'clock, but they're prepping a lot of food and getting the place ready to open up at 7 o'clock. So we can check and see if we're able to do that with the employees we have, but maybe with more employees we would bring on board. I will say in perspective that that last year Britain was open, I believe, at 7:30 instead of 7 o'clock. So we did try to push it back a little bit, but completely agree there are some students who maybe have a longer walk and a longer need. So we'll try to see if we can do that in the future.
We were told in a previous webinar that retail locations were taking meal swipes as well as dining dollars. My daughter has not been able to use meal swipes at retail locations at all. Are there specific locations other than the all-you-can-eat halls where she can use meal swipes?
Yeah, so I don't know which presentation that was, but I hope it wasn't a dining one, because we made a change strategically this year, because we moved to the all-you-care-to-eat plan in all three of our dining halls. So we expanded from 2 to 3 dining halls, but we did move away from using swipes in the retail venues. Like I mentioned, we added 150 dining dollars. I believe right about that, maybe 175, but we added that to our first-year student plans in lieu of using those meal swipes in the retail locations. Moving over to self-operated dining, one of the things we did from a strategic perspective was to benchmark our meal plans to other institutions in the state of Georgia and the Southeast and some of the most recognizable dining programs in the United States. And the pretty much the largest takeaway was that dining dollars were to be used in retail, provide more of those dining dollars to students, but they could use those in retail locations. tax-free, sales tax-free, and then in our dining halls is where you would have that unlimited option to go in as many times as you'd like to. So the meal swipes are not available in retail locations now, but we did increase those dining dollars, and of course went to the all-you-care-to-eat unlimited plans in the dining halls.
And if a student is turned away at 9:30 and the residence hall closes the dining hall closes at 10, is there like a manager or someone they can contact to about this happening?
Oh, definitely. Nobody should be turned away at 9:30 if we close at 10. What I've communicated to our team is that if it's 10 o'clock, we should still let the person in. Now, if it's 10:15, maybe not. But so I'll speak to them about that. In terms of who they can speak to, they should be able to ask for a manager. That shouldn't be an issue. Once again, at that very moment, your best bet is to ask for a manager in that location. And for some reason that doesn't work out, which shouldn't be the case, I'd ask them to email me directly the next day because that would not be acceptable.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan. Thank you for all your presentation and efforts. It would be great if the food trucks could accept meal swipes. Also, my child has been charged with tax when he used his dining dollars. Is this normal?
So for the food trucks, we hear you on that. They're very popular. Once again, back to the previous question, for retail locations, which includes our food trucks, we aren't doing meal swipes at this time. We will reevaluate and see if that's a feature we could offer in the future, but at this time, it's just going to be dining dollars at those locations. They do accept Buzzcard Funds as well, but not meal swipes. In terms, what was the second part of the question? I'm sorry, Tyler.
The tax on the dining dollars.
Oh, right. No, they shouldn't be charged tax. So I would ask them to contact us, dining@godtech.edu, let them know about when they had that transaction, where it was located, and we can go back into our system, look at that individual's GTID, their transaction history, and see if sales tax was charged, and then refund that sales tax, and then also speak to the vendor about that.
Just really quickly as we move on, my son has said things have gotten better, food lines, etc. Thank you for working through these challenges and improving things. Are there plans to have meal swipes options for dining in Central Campus?
Yeah, I think that's back to the meal swipe thing. So yeah, for the last few years, we did have meal swipes in the middle of campus, but like I said, we did move towards of just having the unlimited. So the thought process is that the majority of students eat, and looking at our data, it's not just the thought process, but the data says that they're eating breakfast in dining halls, eating dinner in dining halls, and then during the day, when they get lunch or a snack, it would be with dining dollars. And so that is why we increased those dining dollars for everybody. If they're choosing to eat, their dinner, we do have some dinner options in the middle of campus and retail locations. So if they choose to use dining dollars there, that's obviously their choice, and that's great. But they could see a depletion in those dining dollars quicker, of course, if they're using them for multiple meals. But at this time, yeah, meal swipes are not in the middle of campus. It's just the dining dollars that can be used for that meal. It can be used in any meal, but usually we see those dining dollars used for lunch specifically, and then all you care to eat for breakfast and dinner.
Awesome. And Ryan, just for any parents and families who may have joined us late, if you could just touch on the credit that was established to all of our students' meal plans again.
Yes. Yeah, and I think that we'll have this presentation is recorded, so we'll be able to you'll be able to go back and look at that short presentation. If you did come late, I hope you're able to review that. If you're not, then you can check out our website, dining.godtech.edu/progress. And so that has specifically been focused on what challenges we're dealing with transparently, and then what we're doing to address those challenges. One of the things we decided to do earlier this week was to provide a $50 dining dollar credit for all students that are on that everyday or weekday plan. And then if they're on voluntary plans lower than that, then the prorated difference of a credit based on the meal plan price. But if you're on that first year plan, we did provide 50 free dining dollars just because of the frustrations of last week.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much for that to you and your team. Please provide, just a quick suggestion, please provide whole wheat bread, jam, butter, and cream cheese during breakfast in West Village if you can. My son's vegetarian and he would appreciate this option. And then just another quick follow-up, seems that soup is pretty popular around the lunch and dinner time.
What, soup?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll flip more into the soup. I know that we'll have probably even more soup options during the fall and the winter. But yeah, we'll look at it for right now as well. And I'll check on the whole wheat thing about West Village.
Parent just wanted to put it on your radar that the to-go containers did run out yesterday. I'm not sure which location, so she was unable to even take her disposable regular plate out. So a parent just wanted to put that on your radar.
Yeah, that's good to know. I wasn't made aware, so I will definitely get in touch with all three of our dining hall directors. I'll email them right after this and figure out where our supply is, and go ahead and have some more on hand. I know we've seen a lot of students take advantage of the takeout option, which is great. I know during this time of COVID, students often feel more safe eating outside or eating outside of the dining hall. I will say that in a traditional all-you-care-to-eat dining hall, the approach is usually to eat inside the dining hall. I know this probably dates me, but when I was in college, I had an all-you-care-to-eat plan, and they wouldn't let anybody take anything out of the dining hall. You couldn't take a drink or an apple or anything. You had whatever you ate there, you could eat. So I think we've come a long way in doing that, and we definitely need to make sure we have those containers available. So I'll check into that, and we'll continue to monitor how that goes throughout the semester. Thanks for the feedback.
No problem. One request: if ingredients can be mentioned against the food item, it will be easy for students to make choices.
Okay, so the ingredients completely. Let me check into that, and we'll see what we can do. I know we've been hand inputting all the specific ingredients into our dishes because we've made them all from scratch, which is quite the undertaking. So I will check to see how we can make that more transparent. Thank you for that.
If you could touch on again, where can students get smoothies and the smoothie options on campus?
So I know Britain has smoothies, and I know we'll be working on the same thing for West Village as well. I know that at Rec Stop on the first floor, that retail concept, we'll have smoothies available. It is a retail concept, so dining dollars will be used, but they'll be down there. And I think we're planning on expanding that option in a smaller scale over at West Village at Mindful Bites. And then over at the Campus Recreation Center, which is where students go to work out and exercise, we have a concept called the Dive that'll be opening towards the end of the month. Unfortunately, staffing is still challenging for us, but we're finalizing that menu, and that will also include fresh made smoothies.
Great.
And I will say, just while you're looking at that next question, Tyler, I have a pet peeve about smoothies. I make a smoothie almost every morning at home, and so if you go to I like Smoothie King, but if you watch what they're putting in the smoothie, it's often some kind of weird syrupy kind of thing. It doesn't look like real fruit. So I know that when we were doing it at Britain, it was actual. Here's the actual fruit. Here's the yogurt. Here's the banana that's peeled. So very transparent with those smoothies, and that's our plan to do going forward. So it's very, very transparent and clean.
Hey Ryan, it's Lacey. I'm sorry, I'm trying to jump in, Tyler. What if parents want to add money to their dining dollars? How do they do that?
So the best way to do it is there's a app called the Mobile Transact app. If you go on our website, you'll be able to find more information about that. I actually did it yesterday. I added more of my faculty staff dining dollars, and it took about 30 seconds. And so you can go on. That's the best way to do it. You can also go on the Buzzcard website, but I would recommend going to our dining website, and you'll be able to see it from there. But it's Transact. I think it's Transact Mobile. It's right here on my phone. I believe it's Transact Mobile, and that's it's called the eAccounts app, but it is Transact as the company. And so that information is on our website. You should be able to see it there, but that's a very efficient way to just go on and add funds very quickly. You can also, if you do have cash, we're not accepting cash on campus as a tender, but if you do have cash, we have a number of machines around campus. You can put the cash into the machine, and it'll convert it over to dining dollars on your card.
Great. And just as we look to wrap up, I know that many of you are still continuing to express concerns about the vegetarian options on both North Avenue and West Village, and I can assure you that Ryan and his staff and his team are taking note of this, and will address this with the chefs. But switching to vegan options, Ryan, at North Avenue specifically, could you touch on those options? And then I think there is a concern about more variety for vegans at North Avenue.
Yeah, once again, I'll check with our executive chef there. His name's Chef Tom, and ask him about those vegan offerings. I know, like I said, I went into North Avenue just yesterday and actually every day this week, but I know we have some vegan offerings because I've seen them every day, but in terms of expanding those offerings, I can speak to him about trying to do that for both vegan and vegetarian options at North Avenue. And really the takeaway from this will just be at all 3 of our dining halls, I'll have a meeting with our executive chef and all of our unit executive chefs and just speak to that approach.
Are fruits options available anywhere on campus?
Fruit, yeah, we have it in all of our dining halls. So we have whole fruit in all the dining halls. And then I actually got an email this morning about some people being happy about all the cut fruit and sliced fruit that we had at Britain. And so we'll try to add even more of that cut and sliced fruit in our dining halls. And then various retail locations have fruit available just depending upon which one you go to and what you're looking to have.
Great. And just last question as we look to close out. Last couple questions, excuse me. How are you maintaining social distancing in the dining halls due to the COVID situation?
Yeah, so last year that we had a number of different guidelines and requirements from the Department of Public Health, from the governor's office, the state, that kind of thing. And so last year we reduced the number of tables, we reduced the number of people at any time, we changed the queuing lines, which the lines last year were even worse, I think, because of having to spread everybody out and the social distancing piece. This year, we're strongly encouraging across all of campus for individuals to wear masks. We notify students, faculty, and staff of where they can get a vaccine. They can get one on campus for free if they haven't been vaccinated and they want to. Obviously not a requirement, but if they want to, the option's available for free. We also provide testing around campus, free testing, saliva-based testing. We encourage students to get tested and faculty and staff on at least a weekly basis. In terms of inside of the actual dining halls, at this time, the only thing we really have is encouraging mask wearing. Of course, when you're eating food, you wouldn't wear a mask, but we encourage them, and that's about it at this time. That is the only thing we're able to enforce from a state perspective. That's our approach, and as of course we know, there's a lot of demand in all of our dining halls considering the lines that we've had. So taking out seats and tables at this time is not something we've done because of that demand, but we are encouraging that mask wearing on a regular basis.
Great. And the last question, Ryan, if a student would like to express concerns on site about food quality, who should they request to speak to in the dining hall?
They should request to speak to either a manager on the floor or to a chef. I would ask to speak to a manager or a chef, depending upon where they are on the availability of the staff. There should be both available, a manager and a chef, and they should ask to speak to somebody to talk about that concern.
And then just a follow-up, it seems that a parent expressing that her son had an unfortunate mishap with a salad last week. She wants to know, how is quality control done in the dining halls?
Well, that's a big question. We have a lot of pieces around quality control. Of course, we work, the individuals that are over our facilities are ServSafe certified. They go through training. We work with our team members on those approaches to make sure they know about quality control. Depending upon the station, depending upon the food, it's handled differently based on Department of Public Health guidelines, as well as the state of Georgia, and of course what ServSafe says in terms of the certification and training process. And so I know our culinary team has a lot of background in quality control, and so I know they enforce that on a regular basis. We if somebody does have a concern with something they've ate, if it didn't sit with them well, or they something else, then please make sure to let us know. Reach out to dining@godtech.edu, and we will definitely track those and go back and look to see if it was something that happened on our side. Otherwise, it could be something that didn't settle well with the individual, just depending upon the situation. We haven't heard any kind of feedback in terms of a large number of individuals of a pattern. So we haven't had anybody say 50 people who ate, meals at chicken at this location this day had an issue or anything like that. We have had some one-offs though, and I am sorry about those. So please make sure we're aware if any of that happens, and we'll definitely address it immediately.
Great. And a quick suggestion, if you could mark halal chicken or any chicken that has halal in it, just to have a marker so students are aware. And then for clarification, I think you said this earlier, Indian dishes, specific dishes are in North Avenue?
Indian specific dishes. So we have an international focused cuisine options in all 3 of our dining halls. West Village has a location called Ginger and Spice that has both Asian and Indian focused food. And so that, of course, that cuisine and that menu rotates on a regular basis, and we do feature some Indian food there at at all three of our locations, but definitely at West Village with the name of that location, Ginger and Spice.
Perfect. Well, Ryan, I have a lot of parents and family members who are so pleased and grateful for you taking time out of your schedule. So definitely big kudos to you and your staff for just having this platform, addressing things quickly, and also valuing the opinion of the parents and the students. So parents and families, we will work with Ryan to host one of these again this semester, so we can follow up with you with some updates and more information. If you have any further questions, Ryan, would you just once again give the contact information for the appropriate people?
Yes, definitely so. So contact information, our website's dining.godtech.edu. Get a lot of information there. Our primary email address is dining@godtech.edu. And so we answer a lot of questions through that. If you do need to escalate something, our dining leadership, that whole leadership team can be found at dining.godtech.edu/contact. And then, like I mentioned last, our progress page, dining.godtech.edu/progress, and we'll continue to update that as we continue to make the dining experience even better on campus.
Great. Thank you so much, Ryan, once again. And parents and families, once again, please know that this will be recorded and posted to our website. I'll make sure, just due to the sensitivity and the pressing issue of this topic, I'll make sure that it's posted this afternoon before 5 p.m. So definitely be on the lookout. Our website is parents.gatech.edu. You'll go under the Stay Connected tab under virtual recordings, and there you can see previous videos, the recording of this video, and also our schedule for upcoming webinars. So thank you so much again, parents and families, and have a nice day. Go Jackets.
Thank you.